You're listening to PlayStation Power. I'm George. With me is Greg.
Hello.
And we have a guest here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi. My name's Steven. I don't know how to do this, guys.
I was gonna ask what podcast are you from, but you're not from any anymore, are you?
Well, no, I have one currently going. Not the same one that you probably. I used to do one called Platformers, which is still on iTunes. Like, you can listen to the backlog, which is, I guess, if you want.
I'm actually listening on SoundCloud, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's on SoundCloud. I think it's on Overcast. We're on a couple different things. But yeah, it's just me and some friends talking about video games. But I also do another one called Monster of the Week, which is we're covering every episode of the TV show Supernatural.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun because that show gets real wacky a little bit into it. But yeah, so that's what I do.
Awesome. Well, we're covering Jak and Daxter this episode, thanks to Steven here. And yeah, this game is interesting. I'm really surprised it wasn't released on the PlayStation Network. So yeah, this game released North America December 3rd, 2001, PAL territories December 7th, 2001. Developer, of course, Naughty Dog, the one, the only. Publisher, Sony Computer Entertainment. And this game is interesting. I did not know this game actually uses the Kinetica engine.
Yep. It's weird.
Which is, yeah, it seems like a lot of, not a lot, but like a decent amount of, like, first games, like, use this engine. It's crazy. Yeah, but like I said, not on PlayStation Network, which is really interesting because I feel like a lot of people love this game.
Well, there was a remake done recently too.
Mm-hmm. For the PS3, yeah.
The PS3.
Yeah,
Yes,
the Jak and Daxter collection, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who needs that when you actually have the PS2 games and like at least 3 copies of each of them?
Well, to be faithful
except for
to the
Jak X, I might have 2.
Yeah, sorry. To be faithful to the experience, I played the original PS2 version. I did, however, look at gameplay of the remake, and the remake really looks gorgeous. I thought they did a great job with that. That's
actually what I played through on this one, just because I can't find my AV cables for my PS2, which makes me very sad. But also trophies, man. Come on, that's why you played on PS3. This is my first. Hey, this is my first platinum on the PlayStation 3 was Jak and Daxter.
Nice. I don't think I've ever gotten a platinum.
The first one's, I mean, you just got to get all the collectibles, which I did 3 times.
Oh, I would hate
PS2.
to do that.
I love collectibles. It's so good.
Not my kind of thing. I
love checking boxes. This is my favorite. As you can tell, I'm a real interesting kind of guy.
Yeah, you know, on the first date, what's inside your box?
Whoa!
I'm a look inside box kind of guy.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Oh, so many ways to take that. Anyway.
You want to see inside my box?
No, not really.
Anyway.
Thanks, though.
Anyway. What? It's just got multiple copies of Jak and Daxter.
Oh, alright, sure. Cool. That sounds like a great place.
Oh, yeah. And it has Jak X Racing.
I've never played that game.
Really?
Yeah, that looks interesting. I checked it out. I checked that one out briefly also, and it's interesting. It's got it kind of reminds me like a bit about F-Zero because you have some combat mechanics in it, but it's weird.
From my understanding, they just take,
cool.
Yeah, I think I've never played Jak 3. I've only played the first 2. I guess they take a lot of the vehicle stuff from the third one and just make it a racing game. I only played like
10 minutes of Jak 3, so...
And this is my first time playing the game, anything in the series, period.
Oh, so, wow, okay, cool.
Because, well, we'll get into that. There's reasons why, but, yeah, Naughty Dog is a pretty interesting history, because, like, you know, they, this game is early PS2 stuff, 2001, so, I thought for being an early PS2 game, it looks pretty darn good. But I hadn't realized how many Naughty Dog games that I played until I actually went looking at the list, because one of their earliest games, their earliest console game was a crappy RPG, but Genesis called Rings of Power from '91, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember playing that as a kid. But and then like Way of the Warrior, like the 3DO, which I also had for a while, which is interesting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
oh my god.
That's a weird game. It's not
That's
bad.
terrible. It's terrible.
I think it probably. If you played it back then, I think you probably would have enjoyed it more.
It's a Mortal Kombat clone, and it doesn't.
But it also but it's also one of the first games to actually have like actual like FMV sequences in it, because you're actually playing through the eyes of the fighter. So you're seeing all your opponents like head on, like as you battle them. So for the time, it was amazing. Obviously I haven't played it recently, but the game did like modestly well. And then of course the company really came to fame because of the Crash Bandicoot series, which I have played, and which I think are pretty good. Do you guys see some similarities between the Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter series?
Yes.
Because to me there is a lot.
Yeah.
It feels like a natural evolution of it. I actually don't. I think for the time, I think Crash Bandicoot, it makes, like, of course that's the kind of game that they would have made with that style and that, kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Like it totally fits.
I still remember the commercials. The commercials are great.
Oh yeah, he's like driving down the road with the megaphone and everything. Oh, it was great. Yeah, that sick tude that Crash has. Well, I think
because of the success of that series that they got purchased by Sony, and Jak and Daxter was the first game released by them, under Sony's leadership.
It's funny because I think Jak and Daxter might be the first game that from that studio that is Naughty Dog now, that is actually still good. I don't really think a lot of their older especially really? Crash, I don't really get how people think those are still nostalgia obviously plays a big part. I just think that what they're trying to do with the camera and stuff in Crash Bandicoot isn't very good.
Well, there is a remake of the game coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that actually
they're not working on it though, are they?
No. I think someone else is doing that.
They licensed it out to a different studio, Recurse Visions. It'll be coming out this year to PS4, called Crash Bandicoot N.
The Insanity? Yeah, the Insane Trilogy, yeah.
If they gave it the same love and care that the Jak and Daxter remake looks like it got, it should be pretty good.
Yeah, the aesthetic of it is great.
I'm not gonna trust it because the last time I got a game that added another one to the series, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, that was bad. That was very bad.
That was terrible, and I still play it, and I have to make sure that I have to make sure I duct tape my hands to the controller because if I don't, I'm gonna either throw it at the wall or I'm gonna just smash it into my face.
Oh.
I'm very angry at that game, but I still play it because I like Tony Hawk games.
Yeah. Then in more recent years, Naughty Dog is very famous, for the Uncharted series, which true story. I just purchased a PS4 finally, about a week ago, and I got the bundle that came with Uncharted 4, but I haven't touched the game yet.
Oh,
Good
man.
game.
Uncharted 4
I'm afraid you won't understand much if you jump in.
Well, the collections are available to pick up also. So
I'm sure it's cheap enough.
Right.
Yeah,
and another game that I got with the series, another game that I got to in my system, probably the most famous game that the studio's done, which curiously enough, I guess was done by a secondary team as a side project, which is mind blowing.
Plumbers don't wear ties.
No.
It's the remake. They remade it.
Last of Us. Which
I have that on PS3. I am not far in that game.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily it was a second team, but it's the team that did after Uncharted 1, they made two teams.
Yeah.
They hired enough people, and then one team did Uncharted 2 while one team started developing 3, and
the
then
studio in their own words called it their B team. So
really, wow.
So take of that what you want, but
That's funny because they the B team essentially I don't know, some stuff happened with Uncharted 4 where the B team just took that over and a lot of the A team is gone now. So
yeah, so
that's interesting. Anyway.
So their current project is going to be the sequel to Last of Us. That's what they're working on like right now. So
I have to finish that first game then.
It's that is legitimately one of my favorite video games ever.
So pretty good history like the studio.
Yes, yeah, a lot of history. This game, I alluded to it earlier in the green room, if you will. Jak and Daxter is the game that made me realize that this makes me sound very dull. I understand that. This is the game that made me realize that consoles have exclusives.
Yep.
Like I just didn't.
Video games are good.
What? Or like like they were exclusive between because I grew up. I have 3 older brothers, and so it would just they were.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it was bad. But the positive thing for that is they each would get one of the systems.
Oh God, yeah.
So I always kind of I was spoiled for choice, so I always just had everything kind of in front of me as a kid.
Right.
So I never thought about I can't play Super Mario on Sega because we have Super Mario for Nintendo. Like I never thought of that. Maybe I was a dumb kid. I don't know.
Well, you never tried plugging an NES cartridge into a Genesis? I heard it works.
I'll go try. I'll dig mine out and see what happens. And then I went over to a friend's house. We played Jak and Daxter, and we didn't have a PS2 at the time. And I was like, we had a GameCube. Which is weird how we just ended up with
poor soul.
Hey man, there's some good stuff on there.
Kidding.
Just not a lot.
I had a GameCube.
The GameCube has a small but very good library.
Yeah, it's just it's
especially
not a lot.
that F-Zero game.
Oh yes, very good.
F-Zero
game.
GX.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm one of those weirdos that likes Metroid Prime 1 a lot. So I guess in recent years, people.
I think I have that game, but I never played it.
It's very good. It's hard, but it's very good. But anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna go get Jak and Daxter, and they're like, yeah, it's only on PlayStation, kid. You stupid! Now get out of our store. I'm sure it happened something like that. I don't remember exactly. But eventually I got my hands on a PS2, and this was the first game I got for it. It made me realize this and a couple other exclusives like Metal Gear and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I'm a PlayStation kid. Cool. But yeah, so that's why I so rudely butted in to your podcast over Twitter. Like, hey, you guys should do a Jak and Daxter episode and have me on it because I like this game.
I don't think you actually suggested that. I think I actually suggested that to you.
I couldn't remember. I was just like, hey, I like this game. Can I please be on your podcast and talk about it?
Yeah.
I guess that's how that works nowadays.
Sorry. Yeah. I was just gonna say from just a little bit of perspective, from my end. I mean, I'm older than you guys. I'm turning 41 tomorrow, as a matter of fact. But
I heard.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
So thank you, but so I grew up primarily on the NES, Super NES days when there were tons of platformers to pick from. The Mario and Sonic games, of course, being the premier example. So I played a ton of platformers. But by the time PlayStation came out, I was in college, and my taste changed, and platformers were just not a genre I was interested in anymore.
That plus, 3D, early 3D platformers just
they
suck.
were horrible.
They're super bad.
Bubsy 3D was terrible?
That didn't help things either, because I saw those games at friends' houses, and I'm just going yeah, I'm staying away from this shit. But,
yeah, that's the thing. Some games just give genres a bad rap, and that sucks.
So yeah, I mean, to this day, I'll go back and replay a Mario game, for example. But there's very few modern platformers I actually picked up and played, just because my tastes on the genre have just changed over the years. It's just not a genre I really enjoy as much now as I used to, which is the main reason why I never really checked this franchise out, even though I have heard good things about it. So this is my first time playing it, and it was interesting. I mean, we'll get into it later on, but I'm curious to hear more about what Steven's experience looks like the game was like, because he's the one who had the most has more history with it.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I 100%ed this game a couple of times on the PS2. It's really though,
yeah, that's not easy to do.
Well, with this first game, it's actually not that hard.
Don't you have to
That's
get
not
like
too bad.
100?
I actually collected like all the orbs in a decent amount of the areas, but
Yeah, don't you have to
like,
get like
cool.
101 cells to be able to like?
Yeah,
like,
the
do
power
everything?
the power cells aren't the hard part. The hard part is the precursor orbs because it's
Oh, okay.
they don't do a very good job of like they'll tell you how many you have in each area out of how many there are, but you could very easily just miss one that's sitting behind a tree and just never see it.
or
So,
one
like-
that's like right
And it's
outside of your
awful.
hitbox that you
It's
can't reach.
Exactly that. Like you'll just run by it. You'll see a little collection of them, and you'll run through them, think you've gotten all of them because it's you're moving forward, you're doing your thing, and you'll miss one or two, which is infinitely frustrating. Which maybe I spent way too long looking at YouTube videos of precursor orb locations to get the platinum in this. Maybe that happened. It happened. It was sad.
Jeez, man.
Worth it. Not really, but
You just want to say you have another platinum.
That was my first platinum trophy on the PS3, so there's that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I have a problem, guys.
Dark Souls and Jak and Daxter.
Dark Souls and Jak and Daxter. Dark Souls isn't the problem. Dark Souls is the solution. But I won't sully this podcast with my normal bringing up Dark Souls and everything I talk about.
But Jak and Daxter's just like Dark Souls,
It really
though.
is. I mean, think about it. The dodging. And it's an open world. Everything's interconnected. You can skip things. Anyway, I think what I'm normally averse to 3D platformers. Like I like Mario 64 just fine. I think it's interesting as for a company's first foray into using 3D. Like that part of 3D platformers is very interesting to me to like think about trying to use a camera in a 3D space like that for the first time is cool. But like I normally don't really like it because as much as I like collectathons, it'll usually come down to, okay, you're gonna make me do something I don't enjoy doing for a very long amount of time, or just over and over again to get these things, and I don't like that. Jak and Daxter, I feel like there are a couple of side quests that I hate with a passion, and I don't know if you guys got to it or not. So we can talk about that later if you want. But
Fishing?
this game. Not the fish.
Actually, that one's necessary.
Is it necessary? Oh, you need the boat?
Yeah, you gotta... Because he gives you the boat, and then you go to the Misty
right.
Island.
I always just did it. I like that. I like the fishing. So that was
Oh,
fun.
it was terrible.
It's not great, but...
Shooting the swamp rat things
I hate that one.
was worse. I gave up, like... Oh... You've been doing this for like 5 minutes. It was like your first try, but you failed. It was like the last one left or whatever. I was like, no, thank you, no more.
There were 3 of those little mushrooms left. He just ate one. It's fine. Like, it would have been okay.
I know,
dude.
right?
That and the whenever you have to bring the green eco over the dark eco plants that are coming up with your glider is just it's awful.
Oh, that's annoying, but it isn't too
awful.
bad.
Oh, I think that's worse than the swamp rat things because it's just like
Really?
I think because like
Because you just have to keep driving back and forth. It's no big deal.
I don't know. I was so bored of it. I'm like I hate this so
No,
much.
it's boring and it's annoying. Yeah, you're right. But I'd rather do that than the rail shooter stuff or whatever.
Very true.
Yeah.
But like aside from those couple of side quest things that I think are actually awful, everything else just seems like a whole lot of fun. Like I feel like you're constantly moving forward. There are constantly collectibles just being thrown in your face. Like you're picking up orbs, or you're picking up new eco, or you're finding the power cells. Like all the characters. None of the characters are very well written, but I think they're all charming and fun.
The thing I noticed about this game is people want 90 orbs.
Yeah.
Oracles want, I think they're called oracles, they want 120 orbs. And that it's just the same everywhere except everybody gives you a different story. Oh, on top of you have to herd these animals into a specific area. That's another one.
Yeah, your yaks back in their pens.
I feel like it just does the same thing. Like, I mean, there are parts where they'll add puzzles and like parts where you really need to platform and stuff. You know, like when you go to the precursor city under the water. Like there's that where there's like a jumping puzzle and
Can I just add a small side note like about that?
What?
This is like the 8th game I'm aware of that uses the word like precursors to reflect like an ancient civilization. It's like come up with another like word, guys. Because
I mean, what else do you call them?
Of the
ancient peoples?
Yeah, it's like Star Control 2 like uses like the precursors, and like every and like there's numerous other games that use it also. It's like okay, it's like like just come up with a different name, guys. This one's already copyrighted.
Yeah, it's that Teflon word of ancient civilization that's mysterious.
Yeah. But my first three impressions I had of this game right away within the first 5 minutes was the graphics are not that bad for an early PS2 game. The camera angles are certainly workable. They're certainly better than I expected, like a 3D platformer. Mm-hmm. And the voice acting is pretty bad.
Is it really?
Do you think the voice acting is bad?
I thought there were a couple people who were okay. Daxter's damn annoying.
The reason, Greg, is he's supposed to be.
There's a difference between. Yeah, but when somebody speaks that much the whole game,
that's true.
But that's the point. That's the point. That's like if you watch wrestling and you hate the bad guy, it's like I fucking hate him. And it's like that's the point. Like he is supposed to be annoying as shit.
Well, and they tone it down
one
later.
Thing, the voice being annoying is a whole different story.
Yeah, that voice actor is not my favorite. I can't think of anything else he appears in.
I think it fits him well because he's supposed to be an annoying bastard.
Whereas the bad guys voice, the bad guys like voice acting. I can't remember their names like right now. But those people are fine.
They're all passable. Like I said, nobody's like a standout character. That's funny because Naughty Dog's kind of known for that now.
And that's like it.
Does Jack actually say anything?
Yeah, he does. He talks a little bit. He talks a little bit in the first game.
No, you're crazy, man.
Yeah,
you're crazy.
I'm crazy.
Yeah,
maybe I am.
Because it was a big deal that the first thing he says in the second game is "I'll kill what's his name." You're like, oh, this game's dark and edgy.
Yeah. So like, I actually played a lot more Jak 2. So Jak and Daxter is a childhood game for me, but I didn't get too far. Mm-hmm. Jak 2 was like really the game that I played, but like I never got far in it because all I would like to do is just drive the vehicles around and just fuck around everywhere.
Yeah, the normal kid thing. But
oh god, it was so edgy.
To piggyback off of the voice acting being, I take it or leave it. One thing I really hate, and thankfully for the most part, video games have gotten away from this. The cutscenes are unskippable, no matter how many times you have seen them.
Oh yeah,
and I hate that because the story,
Legacy of the Day. Yep.
the story in this, as the most charitable thing you could say is it is charming at times, which whatever.
It works. Yeah,
you gotta collect these things, and then it powers this thing, and you can move on.
Yeah, that's the story, and it's so
unimportant. Motivation to play through stages. That's enough.
Yep. Yeah, I hate unskippable
But isn't necessary? I mean, like, the story isn't, like, the main point of this game.
No, it's not, but it helps.
Yeah, it gets you from point A to B, definitely. But, like, when I've played it as many times as I have, I really don't care anymore. I just want to... I really just... Because that's what I really love about this game.
You've turned into a zombie when you play this game.
Really? Yeah, it's a podcast game for me. I just listen to podcasts and play it, and it's all kind of just automatic. Really just because I love moving through the world. Like, I think that, like... Another thing I really don't like about most standard 3D platformers is you go through your basic biomes of, forest, ice, and lava, which you do 2 of those things in this game. But I think, like, even within those, they vary them so much. Like, I hate lava levels with a passion. I hate them. But this one, you get to go down, like, real cool caverns and stuff like that. Like, is it, like, underground, like, thing with all the centipedes and the trees and stuff. Like, I think that stuff's real fun. And, like, all the enemies are very colorful and imaginative and stuff. I like looking at and interacting with this game. And cutscenes just get in my way.
The art style's pretty good with this game. The graphics are alright. I mean, it is an early game. Yeah. The graphics are alright, but the art style is pretty good. When I was streaming, I was actually asked the question of, the way that everything looks, does it hold up? And I mean, the answer was yeah, because it's not supposed to look like hyper realistic or anything, or you know, it doesn't have like a bland art style. Like graphics, but the way that the art style is made, it's so cartoony in a way, and it still looks good today just because of that.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to talk about this game now in 2017 as opposed to when it originally came out, because I'm sure if I had played it back when it came out, I'd feel differently about this. But so all I can do is just look at the game now and be like, how does this hold up today? How does this compare to other PS2 games like of its time? And you know, compared to the games of its time, I think the game looks great. You know, like you guys said, it's very bright, like very colorful, like good mix of world design, good mix of enemies, and you know, it doesn't look horrible now. I mean, obviously the remake version looks great because, but all they really had to do for the remake version was just simply like touch it up a little bit. The foundation was already there. If this was like an ugly bird,
well, also you're getting a clean signal too, because it's now digital and it's upscaled. And
but the original source has to be good, because if the original source wasn't good, it wouldn't matter how much paint you put on this bird, it still looked like shit. But because the original game is still, but because the original game was made of such loving care. It's a good foundation to build off of. And you know, obviously this game is aimed toward kids. But so
is it though? Because actually, like, I played this with my dad and he liked it.
Well, it's got that
and I'm
Pixar,
sure there's a bunch of adults that will really like it.
Yeah, it's got that Pixar appeal of like, oh, this looks nice. Like there's whimsy in it, which is kind of why I like the first one as opposed to the second one. Like I like the gameplay of the second one. It's a little more varied. Like you have guns and vehicles and stuff like that. It's a little more fun. But I like just the whimsy of this game. Like it's just like it's real happy. Even like there's like in the story there are dark things happening. Like oh I like it's fun to look at. Like the enemy design is very fun.
The dark eco kills you, not turns you into a badass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, edgelord, 1999 over here. Yeah.
That was the year he was born. Great. Actually, so what's really cool is when AGDQ was going on, somebody actually ran this game.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to you, Steven, and I was like, hey, they're running this game. You need to watch this. And, oh my god. So, like, before the run starts, the person brings up their memory card, and they found an underflow glitch, and they had, like, negative, like, 2,000,000% complete or something like that.
Which is amazing. It's so good. It starts off of the rails and just stays that way. Like, those are the kinds of runs that I really like, where it
was a great speed run.
Tactically taking apart the game and abusing it in the best ways.
Yeah, I need to watch that again. That was just so perfect. Everybody, AGDQ 2017 Jak and Daxter.
It's very
good. Go
look
it up. It is wonderful. Oh, I wish I could do that to this game. Just be like, yeah, the game was alright, I guess. It was really short.
Yeah, I beat it in 45 minutes. That's fine.
Well, I checked out a speed run. Actually, sorry, like not even like a speed run, just like a complete 100% long play of the game. Guy did it in just over 4 hours.
It's not a long game, which I think is why I like the collectability of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't finish the game because I've been super busy at work and everything else going on this week. But you know, I think that even for me, if I could probably beat the game in maybe about like 6 or 7 hours, probably. But maybe 100%, like 10 hours, perhaps. So yeah, I mean, like, but platformers are not not supposed to be like 4 day. I'm sorry, like 4 month. Extravaganzas to try to work through. It's supposed to be kind of like, you know, fun romps.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's so funny because like the mechanics of this game are actually wonky.
They're a little weird.
They're a little bit, yes. I mean, again, I give it some credit because of the fact that, again, this is an early PS2 game, so they hadn't figured everything out. But they had improved upon the PS1 stuff, obviously, that we talked about earlier, because, again, like comparing this to Crash Bandicoot games, I'm like, okay, this is so much better than Crash Bandicoot because of this, and this.
And it's
I mean,
playable. Like you can look at it and not want to stab your eyes out.
There's more control. The camera angles are better. You can actually see what's going on around you, which is a godsend.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some of that's because that the PS2 is a more powerful system. But
the one qualm I have with the camera in this game, and I think it's consistent throughout the entire series, and I'll never understand why video games ever thought that this was okay. Like 3D platformers especially, they don't let you look down with the camera, which makes no sense.
Or up.
Yeah, up or down. Like that, your right stick up and down just zooms in and out. That was a big
problem I had.
And I'm like, everything else is actually like kind of like amazing that it plays as well as it does for when it came out.
But I mean, this is like, like they're new to this stuff. Like not platforming. Platforming is an old thing, obviously, but like having such detailed 3D worlds and you like moving the camera around, like what is that? Like this stuff is like so new. It's like, and then like you actually have control of the camera. Like that's great. I found myself fumbling with the camera because I go to a specific like little point in the game, like in the world, and the camera's stuck somewhere and I can't move it, and I need to jump to the next jump, but I can't because I can't see where I'm going.
There are weird instances where the camera, it's because they're Naughty Dog and they've always kind of had an eye for being a little more cinematic with the camera angles, even starting with Crash Bandicoot, because it's always fixed camera, so they like to compose a shot. They'll randomly just do that in this game. Like they'll like, oh, this room, the camera's up in this corner over here because it looks cool, and like they're still kind of, like you said, they're learning and everything like that. So it's fine, but still, it is frustrating to go back to because I'm just like, why would you ever think? Like now, I'm thinking, why would you ever think that that's an okay idea? Like I have to. I had
more fun looking at this game than playing this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see that in certain instances. Yeah, because like the depth perception can sometimes be real off.
It doesn't help that I feel like my depth perception's already fucked. So it's like, oh, I got this I got this platform by the balls, and I jump, and it's like I'm 5 feet away from it. It's like, what just happened?
I kind of had an experience that was kind of somewhere in the middle, like between the two of you, because like I said, I was prepared to hate this game just because of the fact that I'm like, oh, 3D platformers, but playing it, there is a lot about the game I like. We've already mentioned most of those points, but the camera angles are not perfect, but they are better than earlier PS1 games for sure. And it takes you have to kind of you kind of have to like get used to it. I mean, if you're willing to put in the time and the effort to figure out, okay, this is how I have to make this jump, this is how I have to like orientate the camera to be able to see things for the best. No, it's not perfect, but you can certainly make it work, which is better than I could say about a lot of other, I think, honestly unplayable PS1 like 3D platformers like this ilk. I mean, I found the ship control harder to do and more frustrating than the actual jumping around from platform to platform thing. So I mean, once I got used to it, it was okay. I mean, like, I had fun playing this. I mean, sure. I mean, like I said, I can't give it high marks, mostly because of the fact that it's an early PS2 game, and I'm not really a big fan of platformers anymore. But those things aside, I think this game is still playable today, which is certainly something better than I can say about many of the other earlier games like this time period.
I think there's a reason why they remade it into a collection.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because it is still playable.
Yeah.
And I think it's I mean, it can't be expensive. I have no idea what it would be priced at, but I can't imagine.
I have no idea how much the collection is.
That it's more than $20 at this point for the PlayStation 3, and I think you can buy them. I can't remember if you can get them piecemeal or not. I think you have to buy the collection as a whole digitally, but I'm pretty sure you can buy it digitally on the PlayStation Store if you'd like to wait for 3 hours before playing it, so it can download.
PSN servers are not so great.
Pretty bad. I just like.
Also, make sure you're going in wired.
Yes. Oh, God,
I made sure for that
always.
with the PS4. It's like, "Ooh, boy, yeah, I gotta download this update. Oh, okay, it'll be done soon. Next thing I know, I end up playing the 1.0 version of the game because I don't want to wait 3 hours for the fucking update.
I never wait for the update. It can wait.
But it doesn't help because it's a modern game, so it's broken in some areas. It's like, yeah, I love it.
But I think Jak and Daxter, I really wanted to, I think this game is kind of actually important because Naughty Dog is so important right now in the video game industry. Like, whether you... I know that there's a lot of shade thrown at them, and some of it has some merit that they tend to focus on production over just straight gameplay, but I think they do it.
You say that, but look at the Uncharted games, and I think the Uncharted games
great.
are pretty tight.
No, they're great, but I mean, like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a bunch of you run forward and you shoot people. I'm like, well, that's most games, whatever. I know some people, I don't have those issues with it. I know some people do.
Yeah.
But I think
tell them to go fuck themselves. No, I'm kidding.
I do, but I deep down, that's what I say. I think they do that better than anybody else. And I can't remember if we'd started recording when we talked about The Last of Us. I would say definitely finish that game because they do. There's not really a choice at the end of the game, but you are in control. And Naughty Dog is doing very interesting things in video games now that some people just don't, I don't think any other developers are doing. And I think it's important to go back to this game where they really, I think this is, Crash Bandicoot is fine, but I think Spyro is actually a better 3D platformer than Crash Bandicoot.
Whoa.
Come at me, bro. Yeah. I threw it out there.
Shots fired.
Those be fighting words, yeah.
Yeah, it's anybody who wants to bring hate, that's me who's saying that. I do not represent the opinions and views of PlayStation Power or its affiliates. That's all me. But I think this is where Naughty Dog really kind of... if you play Uncharted 1 and you play Jak 2... you can feel the DNA there. You can feel that, okay, this is the next, just how Jak and Daxter is the next natural evolution of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, looking at the evolution just of the games in the series is really interesting because they're always one-upping themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not like more of the same thing or, just oh, this game's worse. No, each game is getting better, and that's awesome because you don't see that a lot in games.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely curious to check out Jak and Daxter 2 and 3 now, just based upon this, because I'm curious to see how those games differ.
Jak 2 is pretty different.
I would actually say you might like those more because they start moving. They're still platforming, but they start moving away from that more into gun and vehicle combat.
Ooh.
It's real cool
but it's
stuff.
not. It might not be what you think of though. It's not a third-person shooter. It's not.
I mean, it's almost kind of like Ratchet and Clank. Only
it's almost like top-down twin-stick shooter kind
different.
of controls. Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah, but it's definitely interesting. I would love to go back and play that game. Actually.
Yeah, I'm starting on Jak 2 now. I'm probably not going to play it for very long though, because Horizon Zero Dawn comes out next week, and so I'll be playing that.
We did talk about that a week ago or whatever.
I'm so excited for that game, guys. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested in it as well.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, one day we're gonna have to cover Jak 2 because it is pretty different. I remember getting it as a kid and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like Jak and Daxter, okay. Next thing you know, you could steal vehicles and there are these law enforcers that are in control of the city and they go after you. You get a wanted level. It's what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a wildly different game and it's real cool to see that.
And then you go out right outside the city and it's okay, do platforming.
Yep.
Actually, a point we did not bring up as much as the platforming is wonky, the combat too is not so great.
Yeah, I can't. That's my problem with having so much history with it. I got the combat. I have my kid knowledge that I can always just fall back on. I just do it. like you were asking me, and I think you had messaged me asking me about one of the combat scenarios, and I'm just like, I don't know, you just do it. Like, I can't help. Like you know.
You said that, and then when I went to go stream it again, I actually did beat it.
Yeah,
which was weird. But like the way that I figured out how to do it was I just kept running away from everyone because there was that guy on the turret who kept shooting bombs at you. So I would just let the bombs take out the guys, and that's basically how I finished them off.
Yeah, and I think with that instant in particular, I think if you go to the far side of the arena, you're putting yourself in a corner, but I don't think he can reach you there. I don't remember exactly. Also, the first game they alleviate this immediately in the sequel, but this game you don't have enough health, I think. Like
you only get 3 hits.
Yeah,
and then
which
you have
is
to collect
not good.
50 green orbs to get health. And there's points in the game where you'll collect a full thing of like a full pip of health or whatever.
Yeah.
And also you can stockpile it. So like if you have 50, like say you have full health, you can stockpile 50 orbs, and then if you get hit, it'll take the 50 orbs away instead of like actually hurting you. Which
it's
is
still not enough, though.
Pretty cool. No, it's not enough because three. You get hit once, like, oh shit. Okay, well, like, let me keep going on, and then you get hit another time. It's like, well, that's it for me. And if the problem is, you could go on for like go in a certain part of the world for a while, and then you die, and you have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, like, that stuff's not cool.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That water temple especially is very egregious with that.
Are you talking about Legend of Zelda now?
Yeah. Oh. Throw more shade. I hate the water temple. No, but the temple in the rock village or whatever it is. Where you go down underwater.
It's the underwater precursor city or whatever. That's
a real bad. Like those types of sections of the game are real bad about that.
I make sure that I. Like, if I didn't think that I was going to get a certain part, like, get a power cell or whatever from, like, an area of there, I just said goodbye and left, and, like, I'll never go back there because it's just
collectibles, and you don't need to
that area is too much.
You can just get the, powers. I think you can get enough power cells to constantly progress without worrying about collectibles too much, as long as because you're going to be picking up orbs as you go, so you can buy them when you need them.
There was an area that I missed in the marshland, and I don't know how I missed it, but I did. And then when I went through, because I was like, oh, I need like X amount of orbs, or not orbs, power cells, and I went through the area that I forgot about in the marshland, and I got just the right amount of power cells there. I was like, perfect. And then the boss battle, and I was like, oh, this is where it turns into the drinking game.
You know, there's another game actually that I played that's kind of the same time period. That at their time period, I don't know why I didn't make this connection before, but I'm not sure if you guys have played the game in the series. Kind of now that I think about it, there's a lot of this game that reminds me of the gameplay and the mechanics and level design for the Mega Man Legend games.
I've never played the Legend games.
Yeah, good games, but but
that's what I've heard. I've just never played them though.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot about those games.
Interesting.
But
that is interesting.
I guess the one major thing about the game we haven't talked about yet is the music.
Yeah,
some parts it kind of seems Crash Bandicoot-y.
Very, very.
And then other parts like seems very like original.
Yeah, I don't really know about the music. Like, I mean, it's always like kind of, it's always fitting where you are. Like nothing ever like is.
It isn't just
jarring.
General background music that they made. Like, oh, what do we do for this game? I don't know. Just make some shitty background music. Ship it out. Like, no, they're like, this area is gonna have this music, and this area is gonna have this music.
Yeah, you're gonna have some like conga drums here. You're gonna have some weird like techno, like weird deep bass synth stuff. And
now you're in a fight. It's gonna be,
it's all pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I wouldn't call the music great.
No. It's nice.
But for the gameplay, it works. Like, it's very appropriate. It certainly helps. I mean, it's not like a game that you want to turn the like turn the music down on unless you're like Steven and played the game like up teen times. But
Yeah.
Oh god, I couldn't imagine doing that.
but yeah, the soundtrack's fine for what it is.
Serves its purpose.
It does. Well, it does a little bit more than that. It's not the best, but it is definitely nice to listen to, and it's fitting. So that's the music.
That's about all I have for Jak and Daxter. Like, it's interesting here. You guys, I figured, I don't know why I thought one of the two of you, would be pretty familiar with it. It's cool that I like getting perspective. I like getting the perspective of a game like this that I inherently know so intrinsically, and then like someone coming to it a little more fresh than me and being like, hey.
Oh yeah,
some parts of this are kind of rough,
yep.
Yeah,
this game fucking sucks.
I was like, oh well.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you know the exact same things happened to us. Like we took, just like we. Back when we covered like a Castlevania game, because I grew up like playing Castlevania games. Like huge fan of them. So, but whereas George had a dragon that kicking and screaming.
Hey, Castlevania's
not really.
okay.
I mean, I had experience with Castlevania on NES when I was a kid. It was just like, it's not my kind of game. Like, I really like watching the game, like people play the game and whatever. Jak and Daxter. It's a video game. It's cool.
Pretty good.
I actually had more fun with this game than I thought I would. I mean,
That's
like I said, because of the time period that came out, and because of the fact I'm not really a big platformer fan anymore these days, I'm not going to go back to the game. Yeah. But I'm going to give it marks because, like I said, I think this is a very good game on a lot of levels. Not perfect, but I think I think the game holds up well enough today. The fact the game got remastered for a collection, it proves the fact that the series was popular enough to warrant that. And probably that collection is the preferred way to play this now. I assume they did something to improve the camera angles, and control problems too in that collection. I'm just, like I said, I haven't played it. I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming
it's all still the same.
Really?
Yeah, it's all, unfortunately. And the one thing I'm pretty sure it's the same in the originals is that the horizontal camera is inverted by default.
It is.
Oh yes,
which is real weird. I'm like, why? I can understand vertical, but no, not horizontal. You don't mess with the horizontal.
I actually made a point in that on my stream. I was like, no. Why do that? I understand some people like inverted y-axis, which you people are crazy, but like inverted X, no, that doesn't work out. Because you're always going to push the thumbstick to where you want the camera to turn.
Bingo.
Well, it seems like Greg just won the bingo game here. Your prize is a copy of Jak and Daxter.
Oh, right.
But I accidentally smashed it with a hammer.
Oh. How would you do? How is that an accident? You just not swing.
I just had a hammer and it just fell.
I don't understand how that happens.
Like now you have to put the game back together. Like you have to glue it together and see if it like. I'm so convinced that if you do smash a game with a hammer and you get every single piece and like tape it together or glue it and you put it in the PS2, it'll still read. But
there's only one way to find out.
I know, right? But if you take one of those blue CD-ROM games, because the earlier games were on CD-ROMs.
Oh, yeah, it was shattered.
Well, no. Because the fat PS2s won't read them, because...
that's right.
Because video games.
Because video games, yeah.
Yeah. Because something with the laser inside of it won't read it or something. So it's like, yeah, like, I want to play Dynasty Warriors 2. Not on my fat PS2. Great. It's like, do I have to set up a secondary PS2 just to fucking play CD-ROM games? It's terrible. I hate it. But at least it's not a problem like the original PlayStation where oh, you're playing for a long time? Well, we're gonna melt the molding so that the laser can't read the game.
Yep.
That was great. I was lucky not to have one of those models when I was a kid, because that'd be terrible, because I played my PlayStation a lot.
Yeah,
so did I.
You had Final Fantasy VII, so...
No,
Yeah,
actually, I
you
never
knew.
had Final Fantasy VII as a
What?
kid.
Oh,
My first
man.
Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy X.
That's a good first Final Fantasy, I think.
It's a good
pretty
game.
good game.
Yeah, the last
better
of the
than
greats.
it's better
Yeah.
than your first one being 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
I still want to beat that game because there's something
No,
wrong
you
with
don't.
me.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
You
Because there's something
shouldn't.
wrong with me.
No, I like 13. I mean, 13 is better than 12, definitely, but...
What?
I like
but,
12.
13 has like actual like grinding for like 5 hours in the game. They don't give you enough
which is
experience.
supposed to, like the old Final Fantasy games, but anyway, that's for different podcasts.
Yeah, we saved that for the Final Fantasy VII
But
episode, guys.
they actually based it around. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. 12 is so good because it's got the license shit and people can learn skills and shit. It's like, we're all good. We're all good. That's what that game's like.
Okay.
Good game.
Good game.
Final Fantasy 14 is better than 13.
Oh my god. Who's this guy?
Yeah, I also bought Final Fantasy 15 like my PS4, and again, I've not touched it yet.
15 is
very
way
good.
better than 13.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I just need to find time to play and not be working 60-hour work weeks.
You're listening to Final Fantasy Power, where we
All right.
compare every Final Fantasy game to 13. All right.
Spoilers,
Final
they're all
Fantasy. Yeah.
Podcast over.
Wait, but I want to bring it back into kind of a little bit of perspective. Final Fantasy X and this game came out almost at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
These
think-
Within about 2
are-
months of each other, I think.
Yeah, I think 10 might have been like November or something.
So one looked like different styles. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my god. Which is that's kind of the cool thing, like, and that's particularly why I dig this podcast, because the PlayStation 2
July. I was wrong.
the PlayStation
Okay.
both the PlayStation 1 but really mainly the PlayStation 2 has such a wide variety
A massive library.
of different like very, very different video games. Like, we have a lot of different games now, but you know, we can boil them down into different genres and stuff like that. But like PS2 and PS1 to a certain extent was just such like this real like awesome time for people just trying out weirdo stuff. Like, I mean, you think about like Jak and Daxter. Like, I don't really know if we could get a game like that now.
You like trying out weirdo stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are we going back to boxes?
Yes.
Well, you know, I think definitely that the NES library also they also certainly and also like want to go even further back, the Atari 2600 library also
All those
both
Pong consoles, man.
both those consoles certainly had a very large, varied collection of games that included anything from like great masterpieces still talked about today to these weird, really offshoot pieces of crap that you're like, what the hell are they smoking like when they came up with this?
Avoiders?
But the PS1, PS2 generation was definitely that third last great period of experimentation, I think.
Yeah.
So, but nowadays we have the PC. I mean,
Yeah,
like
we
indie
have,
games.
we have the indie scene
Yeah.
now, yeah, which is
So-
doing a lot of that good stuff now.
Yeah,
which, you know,
so
we still
I mean,
have
it's still around, different format, but it's still around.
Yeah. I mean, the PlayStation 2 just... There are games that I've not even heard of before. It's like, hey, have you ever played this game? It's like, no, I've never even heard of it. What
Is
is
that
it?
a
It's
thing?
like,
I'm pretty sure you
go
just made
try
that
it.
up.
And then it's like, whoa, what is this? Why have I never heard of this? And then you
That's
find
another
like
reason.
a game
Yeah,
you
that's another
love.
reason that the Atari, NES, PlayStation generations are like that because the systems had so many freaking games made for them.
Well,
But,
and
I mean, like,
game coverage was so different back in the day for all of this stuff, where it's like
Right.
you could walk into the store and there was a game that you just didn't know was a thing, and it's like by those standards probably
Katamari. That's how I first found out about that.
Exactly,
Walking
about
into
Oh
GameStop.
man, I bought that on a whim when I was a child.
Yep, I
I
went to
mean, what is
GameStop and
this?
they had they had the game. like demo unit. I'm like, well, what the hell is this?
I never even played like a demo. Like I just saw it and I was like,
well, it wasn't a demo. They had the game out. I mean, that's the game they had. That's the game they had hooked up. Like that's the game that's the game that they had in the PlayStation unit. So
yeah. I went over to a friend's house and I was like, I made fun of him for it at first. I'm like, what is this stupid game that you have? And then I played it. I'm like, this is amazing.
I'm like $20. So, but anyway, I mean, like, so I think that, I mean, like, platformers. The classic example for platformers of this generation, I think, is probably the Tomb Raider and the Crash Bandicoot games and whatnot. But this genre, I think certainly improves upon those games. They took the lessons,
exactly,
and tried to make the platformers better. Yeah. Personally, I'm just biased toward 2D platformers instead, because it's partly because of what I grew up on, partly because probably because I think they just handle better.
They do objectively. They just age better as well.
Yeah.
Just because you by virtue of putting more stuff on the screen, you have more stuff to like mess up.
Adding that third dimension for a platformer is going to be difficult because you have to take in consideration all of those axes. What is that word? Axes? That it sounds like an axe, but it has like an IS at the end. But do you put another whatever the fuck? You know what I mean?
Different angles you gotta think about.
Dem X's, dem Y's, dem Z's. You gotta worry about them letters. Each dimension, like you have to worry about that, and you have to worry about the gravity of like 2D platformers. You have to worry about that too in 3D platformers, but like how far does this character go when he jumps, and when you're pushing forward, like what is his momentum, and how do you get the camera? It's just like so much to it.
Yeah, and then you play Shovel Knight and you're like, oh, this is just perfect. Like I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
I never played Shovel Knight.
You should play Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, especially for me, because that game is. Especially for me, that game is such a throwback, like to NES platformers.
Yeah, not to derail us too much. That is like speaking of.
Oh, this podcast is about derailing.
Okay, cool.
It's no platform game talk, so it's fine.
Sure. It is the beautiful simplicity of an old school platformer, but it has learned all of the lessons of modern platformers.
Yes.
Like the first level is the perfect. Like every developer for any game ever, like I don't care if it's a platformer, if it's a shooter, if it's a racing game, you need to learn how to teach people to play your games like the first level of Shovel Knight, because it's perfect.
I was gonna say Super Mario Brothers.
No, I think
that's what that game did.
I think it's better than that. Like it obviously
I
Mario
wouldn't
Brothers,
go quite that far.
I
but
think
it's certainly
Mario,
like the best indie, like one of the best indie games made of this generation.
Yeah, the game as a whole, I think some things later in the game, but that first level of Shovel Knight is a masterpiece in level design. I think it's the best first level in a video game I've ever played.
The level design's so good. The boss fights, the music. Oh, that music.
Yeah, the music is definitely amazing.
You're right.
I think the I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think the biggest problem with video games now is all the tutorial shit. It's like, don't tell me what to do. Like, telling me what to do is so boring. It's annoying.
Exactly.
I won't be able to skip it.
But the tutorial for this game I thought was like quite good, like Shovel Knight. I thought they did just the right amount to be able to show you.
It's not a tutorial.
Yeah.
It puts things in front of you and then
it just puts words and says this is what this does.
There's not even text. There's not even text to tell you what to do. It's like, here's a mound of thing, and you if you happen to press the button that makes your shovel work,
right,
you'll dig it up and you realize, oh, okay, that's a thing, and then like it. I don't want to break down the first level of Shovel Knight, but you should play it because it's amazing.
Because you get the chance to practice the skill first, like before you actually have to use it like in combat. So, the game does that great thing the game should do, in which like it shows you how the process works, and it's like opposed to just telling you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, because if Jak and Daxter was, let's say Jak and Daxter was not a thing until like now or last console generation, how would it play? you would walk up to an area where there's a gap. They would stop you. Jack, you gotta jump over the fucking. You gotta jump over this empty space. Press the X button. And then it like shows you a video and it like replays it in slow-mo. It's like, did you get that? It's like, no, I was busy fucking sticking my thumb up my ass. What do you think I was doing? Like, yeah, I watched the 3 times that you showed me how to do it.
I hope
and now
you
there's
wipe
an
your thumb
arrow
off before holding the controller again.
Well, I don't use my thumbs for the controller. Well, maybe I just have a really clean asshole.
I don't want to judge, so you're right. I apologize.
But you know, it's just like, why do you do that? Like, the point of video games is like letting the player explore and learn. It's not about, all right, this is how you play the game. Like, do this. Oh, okay, good, you did that. And then it's just like, okay, I guess I learned how to play the game, but it was really boring and it wasn't fun. And like, if you want to replay the game, like, you're gonna have to go through that shit like 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if it's like Jak and Daxter or an older game or whatever, it's just like you just go and you play and you learn. Like, oh, L1 does this weird like crouch thing.
Yeah,
oh, what happens if I try jumping? Oh, I jump higher now.
Or you can use that while you to vault forward, which is real cool.
Right, like
yeah.
Just I was about to say, like, oh, what happens if I start moving and then I press this button? Oh, I'm rolling. Okay, what happens when I like press the jump button while I'm rolling? Like, oh, now I'm doing like a long jump.
Yeah, and this game does the approach that this game does the approach that I like, where it's like, okay, the very first level of the game it's almost kind of like a tutorial level, because like, you know, like a baby's first step, here's how to play, here's how to navigate, kind of like thing.
Right. Yeah, it gives you some pieces of land to kind of jump through. Like, there's water below you, so you're not going to die. Though we didn't bring this up. We need to bring this up because this stresses me out to no end when this is in any kind of a video game. When you're in deep water for more than like 3 seconds and that fish comes and eats you, like, it legit still stresses me out when that happens.
Yep.
I can't handle that kind of stuff. I just can't. I'm like, oh.
That's like if you play GTA 5 and it's like, oh, I'm swimming in the water, and then
like
a shark comes. It's like, oh,
yeah.
fuck.
It's not a fun time.
No, it's not. And then, like, you have, like, PTSD from getting murdered from a shark. And you want to, like, oh no, I fell out of my boat. Fuck. That's when you just pull the knife out and you just stab the shark.
Oh, I just let it eat me. I embrace the oblivion of video game death.
You gotta fight it, man. You gotta fight it.
But yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's, the Jak and Daxter, guys?
I guess that's Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, like, you know, like, I would probably, you know, I can recognize the fact that this is recognize the fact that this is a good game. Like, even though it's not personally like for me, I think anybody who does like platformers definitely should check this out. But like Steven said, the modern collections is like available for cheap. So if you were like me and kind of like didn't want to check out anything platform related, like in the PS1, PS2 generation, because you got scarred as a kid, then definitely go check it out.
You're gonna enjoy this, both of you. I've seen this game sell for $3, and I've seen this game sell for $80.
Oh, okay.
I can believe that, actually. Yeah,
makes sense.
Sure. But the median price is like $20-$30, which is definitely something I would pay for this game, like $30 maximum.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, when I saw $80, I was like, what the fuck?
I guess that has to be like mint condition, though, right? Like, I can't imagine this game is like a hot collector's item.
Box. No, I wouldn't think so either. But like, I have like 3 copies of like each Jak and Daxter game apparently.
That's cool.
That's what happens when you buy lots. It's like, oh, here's another Gran Turismo 3. So like, I have like 20 of those.
I did that with the Metal Gear Solid collection. I have 4 copies of each of the original trilogy.
That's great. Oh boy.
I don't know why.
Well, anyway, thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for joining us. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a super fun time.
Yeah, anytime. We'll talk about Jak 2 maybe sometime.
Yeah. I want to be on for whenever you guys fight over whenever you guys do Final Fantasy 12 because I want to hear I like that game, so I'll be there. I'll be here to defend it.
There you go. Final Fantasy
George,
Defenders. It's a new podcast. What's up?
Yeah, so actually, George, do we know about what we're covering next?
No.
No? Okay.
Actually, we have an idea, but I don't know if we could get him on.
Okay.
Another guest
thing.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Ooh.
Sick tease.
It's actually just me with a goatee, and I'm just evil me. But I already have a beard, so it's just me coloring in my beard with a marker saying it's a goatee. But if you enjoy what you're listening to, you can back us on Patreon, patreon.com/theboxfort, THEBOXFORT. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, along with the other podcasts I do, The Box Fort, Master System Masterpieces, and then I do another podcast with Greg, the SNES podcast. We played pachinko games.
Boy.
Yeah, it just dropped today, so...
It was, yeah, I saw that. Very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, we have a Facebook group. Just look up PlayStation Power. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Chief, at MISTURCHEEF. And if you want to hear me curse, talk about things like sticking my thumb up my ass and other shit like that while I'm playing video games, you can catch me on YouTube, Hitbox, and Twitch under Mr. Chief. Same name, same spelling as Twitter. Lastly, if you have any comments, concerns, whatever, you can email PlayStationPower@theboxfort.net. That is PlayStationPower@THEBOXFORT.net. Not to be confused with the main website, which is teboxfort.com, TEHBOXFORT.com. Greg, where can we find you?
You can contact me on our Facebook page, and if you want to, you can also email me directly at the email that we use, like the Super NES podcast, which is the SNES podcast at yahoo.com. And check us out on on iTunes. So reviews on there are highly appreciated.
They are for sure. Steven, where can we find you?
I am on Twitter at FromSoftJunkie.
Of course you are.
I do get on Twitch occasionally. I don't remember my screen name, to be perfully honest. So just follow me on Twitter. I'll post.
Isn't it
anytime.
Trey Monster?
Yes, that's what it is, Trey Monster. Yes, which is a play on favorite guitarist. But yeah, so I usually just stream Dark Souls because that's what I do. It's sad, or Bloodborne, one of the two. I'll probably be streaming Horizon though.
That would be interesting. I would like to watch that.
I will more than likely do that if and when I find the time for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Video games.
Video games.
Yes.
Goodbye.